You are now entering the deep, dark, demented dimension of Written in the Stars. Lisa and I have always had at least one picnic under the stars per month since we were dating. We've been married for 13 years this December. Even autumn's cool, giving way to winter's cold, couldn't keep us from finding a night for our monthly outing. I admit that some months we picnic inside the car with the heater on. These are supposed to be fun, romantic outings, not torture. Our latest December outing was a week before Christmas, December 18th, which was also, not coincidentally, our 13th anniversary. It didn't snow that night. Of course, if it were snowing, we wouldn't be able to see the stars. That wouldn't have made for much of a picnic under the stars. Now, I wish it were snowing that night. The evening started out normally enough. We made sandwiches, gave detailed instructions to the sitter, and stopped at Chino's Cuppa for hot chocolate. Hot beverages were a must on cold nights. We each brought our tumblers that keep our drinks hot until after dinner. Star Wars for me, Harry Potter for Lisa. We're grown-ups, but we're not that grown. We're not boring grown. I drove us up to Herman Outlook, a scenic turnout in the mountains that overlooks the city. In the summer, it's always crowded, and we find somewhere more secluded. In the winter, or even late autumn, it's typically empty. We had the entire space to ourselves. This December was oddly warm for late autumn. I'm not saying we were out there in shorts, but we could bundle up and sit outside without catching hypothermia. The city shone brightly, but not as brightly as the stars. When we finished our sandwiches, we sipped our hot chocolate as we snuggled up on our blanket and stared up at the brilliant stars. We pretended the universe was putting on a light show, just for us. Then, it did. Did you see that? See what? I indicated the sky. Aw, did you see a shooting star? Make a wish, quick! Yeah, what should I wish for? $1 million. Wait, inflation. $1 billion. Okay, I wish for... No! You can't tell me what you wish for, or it won't come true. So, don't wish for $1 billion? Just don't tell me. Wish! I wish I hadn't seen what I saw. It wasn't a shooting star. The stars rearranged themselves, but apparently only in my eyes. They formed words that spelled out a disturbing message. It said, "Kill 4 people. Your family's lives depend on it. Tell no one." I blinked, rubbed at my eyes, and tried to pretend I was wishing for $1 billion. I closed my eyes, took 3 deep breaths, and opened them. The words were still there. Feigning tiredness, I asked Lisa to drive us home. I didn't sleep. I stared out the window, wishing for the words to go away. They remained obstinate. I took my weariness through the next day. Thank God it was a Saturday in late autumn. I didn't have any outdoor chores to do. The Christmas decorations were up. I could watch TV and nap in my chair. As the sun set and the stars emerged from behind their sheath of illumination, I grew sick. I was terrified to look out of any of the windows or doors. Before sunset, I traversed the house, closing every curtain and drawing every blind. When Charlie had to go out, I made one of the kids take her. Sheer exhaustion forced me to sleep that night. It was 2:22 when Charlie sat on my chest, whining and breathing into my face. It was the one time I wished she had just peed on the carpet. With one eye open, I faked a snore in hopes that Lisa might wake up and take Charlie out, or Charlie might change her mind. Neither of them budged. I let her out, but kept my eyes down, refusing to glance toward the stars. The next morning, on the way to church, I slid on a patch of black ice. I narrowly missed an Amazon delivery truck. My adrenaline was pumping so forcefully that I couldn't even sleep through the service. Reverend Bishop could knock out an insomniac on speed. We made it safely home, but a fire broke out in the kitchen when Lisa was making dinner. No one was hurt, but we had to replace the stove, microwave, and the counter, and repaint most of the wall. I couldn't resist looking up at the stars that night. The message was gone. That should have been a relief, but a new message took its place.
Those were warnings. Do not defy me.
What the hell was going on? Was I going crazy? Was God testing me? Aliens? Could it be some elaborate prank? Could my eyes be playing tricks on me? None of that made any sense. At work the next day, I started researching. First, I scoured the internet and every news and pseudo-news site I could find, in search of anything mentioning people seeing messages in the stars. There was nothing. Next, I started my other research. I used Terrence's computer. He was sick again. I covered my virtual tracks the best that I could. I wasn't trying to frame Terrence, but I had to protect myself and my family. If I was going to do this, I was going to have to do it like Dexter and only kill bad people. God or the universe or whatever was sending me these messages couldn't want me to kill good people. Right? I didn't have access to police records, but I had access to the news and social media. Not everyone is good at hiding their demons. My first sacrifice to the stars was Tyler Loving. I refused to call them victims. If anyone was a victim here, it was me. These were bad people. Rumor had it, he beat his wife and kids. The police hauled him in a few times, but nothing ever stuck. I watched Tyler for about a week, learning his habits and routines. He went to the same bar every night before going home on the same dark road in a foul mood. The mean drunk shtick fit the abuse rumors. That made me feel a little bit better. It might be different for psychopaths, but for a sane person like me, taking a life, regardless of what despicable acts he may have committed, isn't easy. Especially the first time. Tyler swerved a lot. I started to worry if I didn't get him soon, he would take care of it for me. I don't think that would count toward my total. If I had to do this, I wanted it done and over with. I parked a few blocks away from the Rub-a-Dub pub and hid in the shadows. He left earlier than most, at 1900. I assumed he went home, expecting his wife to have dinner on the table. He stumbled out at 1859. I ran up behind him and whacked him on the head with a baseball bat. He dropped. Someone pulled up just as I was lifting Tyler into his car. Is he all right? Do you need a hand? No, yeah, he's good. He just needs to sleep it off. I hope you're not letting him drive. Nope, I'm the designated. Thanks, though. That was too close. It's a good thing no one gets too suspicious when someone stumbles coming out of a bar. I drove Tyler's car to the Roanoke Bridge. I parked his car along the side and stood with him on the walkway, pretending to hold him while he vomited over the side. When the coast was clear, I dropped him into the sea. My vomit wasn't faked. I wiped off my prints, locked his car, tossed the keys and the bat after Tyler, and walked the rest of the way off the bridge, with a baseball hat pulled low on my brow. I flinched away from headlights and covered my face, exaggerating the effect of the lights on my eyes. A few blocks beyond the bridge, I flagged down a cab and paid cash. I didn't want any part of Uber or Lyft and their online records. Sacrificing got easier after that, but it was never easy. I felt sick every time and couldn't sleep for nights. I prayed for each of them and myself before, after, and during each kill. Sacrifice. My conscience nagged at me, but the message in the stars glowed as brightly as ever.
Kill 4 people. Your family's lives depend on it. Tell no one.
My second sacrifice was Daryl Donovan. He was a 2-time convicted sex offender. He liked prepubescent blonde girls. I skipped work to follow Daryl. He spent most of his days lurking around a park, of which he wasn't supposed to be within 100 yards. Gary Sullivan liked to beat up prostitutes. He was arrested a few times, but the charges didn't stick. None of his few accusers, who were brave enough to report him, ever showed up in court. So the charges were dropped. His proclivity for sticking to the shadows made it easy to track and sacrifice him. The hunter never imagines he's being hunted. My fulfillment sacrifice was a homeless guy. I hate to admit it, but I was sick of hunting and killing people. Literally sick. I vomited every time. I was also starting to worry that Lisa was getting suspicious. I needed it to be done. Under the stars, reading,
Kill 4 people. Your family's lives depend on it. Tell no one.
I sneaked up on a homeless man sleeping in a park and slit his throat. Done. I was done. I triumphantly looked up to the stars. I wasn't done. The new message written in the stars read,
Kill Timothy Chalamet. Your family's lives depend on it. Tell no one.
What the hell? I'm done. I am fucking done with you. Leave me the fuck alone. I yelled up at the stars before realizing I was in a park. Next to the corpse of a homeless man I had just sacrificed. I scurried home and sat in my car for hours, shaking and questioning everything. Why Timothy Chalamet? What the hell was going on? He seemed like kind of a douchey guy, but he's a pretty good actor. I don't have anything against Timothy Chalamet. Sure, he spells his name weird, but is that any reason to kill the guy? I prayed, cried, and tried not to scream. The last thing I wanted to do right then, other than kill Timothy Chalamet, was to wake up Lisa or the kids. Before I went inside, I creaked open the garage door leading to the yard and peeked up at the stars.
This is not a request.
Shit! Maybe he had a secret life where he was the ringleader of a child trafficking ring. Unlikely, but I needed something. I didn't want to sacrifice him, especially if he hadn't done anything wrong. Sacrificing regular, vile people was hard. I had no idea how to sacrifice a celebrity. He always had eyes on him. Even if I could get to him in secret, it would be big news if he went missing. The police weren't as interested in finding people who killed scum like Tyler, Daryl, Gary, or some random homeless guy. One of Hollywood's biggest stars was a different scenario. The police would be relentless. TMZ and social media helped me track Timothy Chalamet. It was actually way too easy. I sneaked into his hotel in a city where he was shooting a movie, hid in his bathroom, and strangled him with one of his neckties while he was brushing his teeth. I made it look like he died in an autoerotic asphyxiation accident. It was big news in the tabloids for a while. In the end, celebrities die that way all the time, so the police never strongly suspected foul play, and they ruled his death accidental. Free at last, I drove home. I felt no need to look to the stars. I was done. No reasonable deity, universe, or psychotic break would expect anything more from me. Right? Wrong again. The new message said,
Kill Taylor Swift. Your family's lives depend on it. Tell no one.
God damn it! You cannot be serious!
This one got to me. My daughters love Taylor Swift. I even like a few songs. We sing along to her songs in the car. What if I sacrificed their hero? What if they found out I killed her? Why was this happening to me? The old autoerotic asphyxiation accident wouldn't work again. That would be a pattern. I avoided patterns throughout my series of sacrifices. Besides, I don't think women do that. It was my luck that Taylor Swift was coming to town for a concert. It was my bad luck that my daughters demanded to go. That presented 3 problems. She's the biggest star in the world. I couldn't sacrifice Taylor Swift at a concert while I was with my daughters. And Taylor Swift tickets are ridiculously expensive. Once we found our seats, I excused myself to go to the bathroom. I sneaked backstage and dipped into an empty dressing room where I stole someone's clothes. It would be impossible to remain inconspicuous with blood on my clothes, so I covered myself with stolen clothes that I could toss after completing the sacrifice. Whatever mysterious force was guiding me must have been looking out for me, because it was way too easy for me to get backstage and move around unnoticed. I didn't even see any security people. At least, not yet. I approached Miss Swift with a CD and a penknife that I hid in my shoe to get past the metal detectors. I said my daughter was in the hospital, and I needed to get her an autograph. When I lunged toward her, security made me aware of their presence. The mysterious force was definitely looking out for me. Somehow I made it out of there, with only a few bruises. My plan had one other fatal flaw. I couldn't flee the scene and get back to my daughters and Lisa. I ducked into the bathroom, where I ditched the stolen clothes and the penknife. When I got out, security had locked down the entire venue. They were looking for me, but security was too frantic to get out a description of me. I played it cool and didn't do anything to draw attention to myself. The concert was canceled shortly afterward. No one was allowed to leave without a security inspection. My family unknowingly acted as my camouflage. Security was looking for a lone lunatic, desperate to escape. No one was looking for a guy with his wife and 2 tween girls. We made it safely outside, where the stars read,
Kill Taylor Swift. Your family's lives depend on it. Tell no one.
I no longer see the messages. Not since I scratched out my eyes. It's a good thing these walls are padded. I have started hearing the messages, though. They ring in my head, night and day, night and day, night and day, night and day, night and day,
Night and day. Night and day.
The Guy with Charlie Productions.
Oh, Charlie, Charlie.
It's the chicka chicka chuck, y'all. The chicka chuck, y'all. The chickity 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 chuck, y'all. Delightful.
Delightful.